Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It is the day that the Lord has made, and we choose to rejoice and to be glad in it. How are you this morning? Good morning, Annette. How are you feeling? The Lord is good, and his mercy endures forever. Great is his faithfulness to us. I apologize, y'all, for being late, but I was watching um, this Netflix special. It's called Stay Sweet, Pray and Obey. It's 4 episodes, and it is about the FDLS church. If y'all remember Warren Jeffs' lesson, you can be easily indoctrinated into what is not real and cult like behavior. Wow. This man had unbelievable control. He dictated, well, first it started with his father, dictated who got married to whom, who stayed married to whom. Girls as young as 14 and 12 were being married off. When Warren Jeffs got arrested, he had 78 wives. 24 of them were under 17. His father had over 20 wives, and his father had 62 children. Listen, y'all stay careful. Anyway, good morning. So, for those who occasionally hop on the phone line, I'm probably going to discontinue it because now when you dial it, they tell you you're being charged by the minute. And since we're on YouTube, you don't have to have a Facebook account, Rochelle. You don't have to, or Jackie, you don't have to have a Twitter account. You can simply go to YouTube for free. So we're probably going to discontinue the phone line because we don't want people to have to pay to listen. Aramint, Aramint. John 10 and 10. Look at that. Open the Bible right to it. Free. Yes, free. YouTube is free. And you don't have to be connected to any social media account. You don't have to set up anything, give information, anything like that. You can just simply go to YouTube, type our name in, and we pop up. So John 10:10 is talking about the true shepherd and what that means. And so Jesus is talking about anybody who doesn't enter the door to the fold of the sheep but climbs up by some other way, he's a thief and a robber. Yeah, this is a was a free online conference call until 3 days ago when they start saying it's outside of your plan. You will be charged. However much they said you will be charged. And while it's not a lot, if you do it every day, 30 days, 30 minutes, it can add up. Yes, 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 yes. This was a free one until, yeah, maybe 4 days ago, we started getting that message. So, anyway, John 10 and 10. If you start at verse 7, Jesus is talking about, I'm the door of the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. Verse 9, he says, I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he will be saved and will go on and find out pasture. He will go in and out and find pasture. Salvation through the Lord, through Jesus alone is provision. Then John 10, he says, but the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I came that they might have life and have it abundantly. He came that you would have life and have it abundantly. That does not necessarily mean that you're going to have all the wealth and riches in the world. You can have an abundant life without having a ton of money. How you feel this morning, Ginger? And so, right, subscribe to the Wise Word channel. Thank you, Jacksonville. You're not feeling well. Please be praying for Annette. I know she had eye surgery, and I'm going to have to reach out and see what else is going on with her. But be lifting her, one of our faithful Wise Word members, in prayer, that whatever is going on with her physically, that we know that the Lord can heal. We know that He can turn it around. We know that whatever diagnosis, that the Lord could very definitely have a different prognosis. And so we are lifting you in prayer, my sister. We are believing the Lord with you and for you, for your complete healing. The same with Ginger, the same with Susan, with Sandy, with Gertrude. There's so many Wise Word family members to pray for. Oh, Pam, we're so sorry. Praying for Pamela, whose father transitioned yesterday. Whew. Yes. Praying for Pam, whose father transitioned yesterday. Pam, we are lifting you, lifting up your mom. I know who was a primary caregiver to him. And so I know that they were married a very long time. But I know that the Lord can sustain her. The God of hope can give both of you, give your entire family comfort and peace and joy. Let me know what arrangements you all have made and are making. And we'll see what we can do to at least come and support you. If you need us to cook anything for you, we got you. We could bring you some food. I know at this time people bring tons of food. So when this is all over and you need some, we got you. Anyway, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. Jesus says, I came so they will have life and have it abundantly. Well, if you look at the comparison and the contrast, Jesus tells you what the thief comes to do versus what he came to do. And so the nature of a thief is that you're not expecting them. If you're expecting the thief, you prepare for it. So the nature of a burglary or a robbery or someone to steal something is you're not expecting it. And they strike when you least expect it. They don't announce themselves usually. They kind of just sneak up on you. And you don't often know that they're there. Pickpockets, people who snatch purses. One of my favorite movies is Casablanca. And it opens with the scene of a man being pickpocketed, and the thief, walks up to him and his wife at this little cafe, and it's all nice and chatty and talking. And as the thief pickpockets him, he says, be careful because there are many pickpockets. And the man says, oh, thank you, not realizing until he goes to pay the bill that he has been pickpocketed. So a thief is not easily recognizable. Of course, they don't want you to know they're stealing. He doesn't do it in the open. He does it in the secret. And so when you start looking up the word, what does the thief do? He steals. Well, that just means you take what don't belong to you. You didn't have permission I will never forget several years ago, maybe 10 now, watching a news report of a young man who had been burglarizing homes in an upscale neighborhood. If you're from DC, you know Potomac and Bethesda, a little upscale. And he was stealing. And when they caught him, he said this: if they didn't want me to have it, they should have never bought it. What kind of bootleg logic is that? A thief steals what doesn't belong to him. He's after what belongs to you. He's after what belongs to God. To kill, it means he is coming for a sacrifice. When they killed the animals in the Old Testament, it was a sacrifice. So whether it's a physical killing or spiritual killing, or you kill someone with your words, as Roberta Flack said, killing me softly with his words. Killing me softly. What you are saying with your mouth sometimes is offering a sacrifice to someone or something, good or evil. Incantations. Mm-hmm. He comes to destroy. Destruction doesn't always mean death, but it can. It can mean to permanently cut off. A tornado destroys your house. It doesn't mean you can't rebuild it, but it does mean that one is destroyed. So the enemy comes in like a stealth fighter plane. Yep, demonic sacrifices. If you've never read, he set the key. What is it? He came to set the captives free by Dr. Rebecca Brown. Yeah. He comes in like a stealth fighter jet. You don't see it. You don't hear it till it's right up on you. First, he wants to steal what belongs to you. Take what belongs to you, doesn't belong to him. When that doesn't work, then word curses try to follow you to kill you. And they continue till you are dead, maybe not physically, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. That's the intention. So it's important for us to watch what we say. This ain't never gonna work. You never gonna change. This always go, no, 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 no. Watch what you speak over yourself, over your children, over your family, over your spouse, over your friends, even over those that you say are your enemy. Your mouth can be used by the enemy as a thief. Yeah. Jesus says, though, he came to give us life and life abundantly. I came means he wasn't here. He came from someplace else, from one place to another. I came from heaven to earth to show the way. From the earth to the cross. Yes, my debts were paid. He came. He said, I had to come because y'all couldn't keep this law. So I came as a sacrifice so you wouldn't have to make another animal sacrifice. I came to be the more perfect sacrifice, the more excellent sacrifice. I came that they would have. What is it that you would have? Well, back in Genesis, he said, be fruitful, multiply, possess the land. I came that you would possess. I came that you would receive. I came that you would have dominion, that you would retain, that you would lay hold of the promises in me. Life, that you would have what? Life. Physical life? Absolutely. Spiritual life? Absolutely. Whew. That you would understand that the life you have on earth as it is in heaven, that you want what's in heaven on earth. I came that you would understand that this life here on earth is not all that there is, but that you have a promise of eternal life. Yeah, I came that you would have life, spiritual and physical, emotional, psychological. I came that you would have. You would lay hold of the life that I sacrificed for. I came that you will understand that I died, that you would live. I came that you will understand that, listen, I want you not to just have the life that I came for, but that you would have it in abundance would mean that you would have more than enough, because abundant means it's above and beyond. I have more than enough. Now that unto him who is able to do exceeding abundantly above all I ask or think, according to the power that works in him. And that's, yes, I came that you would have it abundantly. What does that mean? Excessive, exceedingly. You would have an advantage. God came to give you life, spiritually, physically, naturally. And he came to give you a life that is an abundance of whatever you have need of. I dare say right now, Pam's family needs peace. They need some joy because they're sad and sorrowful. Her father is no longer here. I dare say they need the love that you get when family and friends surround you in abundance, right? And so sometimes we have a mindset as believers that we're not here. I know, right? We rarely focus on the spiritual. It's always the material. But you can be excessively blessed in peace. I watched a clip with Mike Tyson the other day. And he said that the 3 years he spent in jail were some of the happiest years of his life. And the person interviewing him saying, "What? Man, you were locked up in prison." He said, "Yeah, but I had peace." Dude was like, "Man, you got 30, $40 million. What do you mean being locked up? You didn't have access to your money. What you mean?" He said, "Listen, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your peace, it means nothing. While I was in prison, I had peace." He said, "I had peace of mind. I had peace in my spirit. I wasn't anxious. I had peace in my body. Yeah, I had a lot of money, but I didn't have no peace. I was crazy. I didn't have peace." And so there's a scripture in the Psalm that says he blesses us with an abundance of his peace. So he came that you would have, and that you would be excessively blessed, not just with money, not just with material things. Listen, you don't know peace until you experience gospel. Etta Schoenhoff right about that. He said, "Listen, I came that you would be excessively, abundantly blessed in joy." Because guess what? You can have a life of a bunch of money. We know people who commit suicide who are exceptionally wealthy. Robin Williams had the admiration of millions, more money than he could ever spend, but he took his own life. We see it from the Vanderbilts to the Rockefellers, hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. Young lady had just won Miss World or whatever she won and jumped off a building. You have adoration from people, but you don't have peace inside. And Jesus came that's one of the things that you would have, that you would know joy. Because if you have the peace of God, you have the joy of the Lord. You may not always be happy, but you have the joy of the Lord. You have the comfort knowing that the Lord is with you. And yes, you can have abundance materially. And some people are uncomfortable with that. Somehow they think that only the pastor should live well. I'm just watching this thing on Warren Jeffs, and the man was saying how many of them were living hand to mouth, barely making it, maxing out credit cards, not enough food, that when he went on the run, they were sending him, y'all get this, $300,000 a week, every week in cash. Because he was the prophet of God. You don't need $300,000 a week. every week. I don't care who you are. What are you doing with $300,000 a week? But while they struggling, he living the high life. All the things that he told them were wrong and sinful that the Gentiles were doing is what he was doing. To the point where they were going to Costco buying cans of tomatoes, dumping them out, opening the can, dumping them out, washing the can, and stuffing money, 15, 20 grand in a can, glue the can back and shipping it to him. This man was getting $300,000 a week. Every week. That's not of God. He came to give you abundant life. He already gave you that life. Some of us refuse to receive it and accept it. He already came. He already died. He already was buried. He's already been resurrected. So that part's done. Now it's time for you and for me and for us as we move forward, as we start this fast on Monday, to lay hold of the promises of God. But here's the thing, he's not going to force us to take it. Some of us live in turmoil when God says, I'm here to give you peace. I'm here to give you joy. I'm here to comfort you. I'm here to relieve you of the stress and the worry and the unforgiveness and the bitterness. He came to give you life in the spiritual, the physical, and the natural. That is an excessively blessed life. That is an abundantly blessed life. And so often when you hear people teaching or preaching about abundance, it's all about a car, a house, a plane, and all of those things. But the fullness of an abundant life is that you're walking in truly who God said you are. A lot of churches focus only on the spiritual side. You came for salvation. That's true. And the spiritual life that God came to give you doesn't cost you anything to receive. It is free. Salvation is the free gift of the Lord. You just need to confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord and God has raised him from the dead. Romans 10, 9 and 10. That's what it say. And we have people who do outstanding in teaching it. But there is a physical side to the abundant life. Now, some churches only preach on that. You ain't really got to be saved. The Bible ain't all the way true. Well, no, that's not it either. And here's the thing. There's really nothing wrong with the prosperity gospel as long as that's not all you teaching and preaching. Prosperity God's way, not a prosperity just because you got a red bottom shoe and a logo bag and a fine car does not mean you're prosperous. The prosperity, it's just not about financial. What's your physical health like? What's your mental health like? Prosperity in your physical body, prosperity in your mind. What's your emotional health like? How you got abundant life if you always sick and you got a whole regimen of pills to take every day? That's not abundant life. You taking pills for high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, gout, water, all that. That's not abundant life. An abundant life. See, God's intention for us is to be abundantly blessed in every area. And we know money can't necessarily buy your health, because if it could, Steve Jobs would still be here. He looked for every treatment there was, suffering from pancreatic cancer. You cannot preach the abundance of physical life and leave out, I read this morning, the prosperity of spiritual life. How your spiritual life prospering? Are you in right relationship with the Lord? Are you in right relationship with his people? Are you prospering spiritually? Are you praying and seeing them answered? Are you learning more about God? I dare say those people who were caught up with the FDLS were not prospering spiritually. The women went to school to the 4th grade. Everybody waters. They learn to sew, to cook, to clean, to be submissive, subservient. Women wake up at 2:00 in the morning, their kids being taken. Where you taking my kids? They going to Zion. To who? Being groomed to be brides at 12, at 14. Because the prophet said, the Lord is saying, you're ready to be a wife. What? What? Here's the thing. Abundant life means you have physical wealth, a healthy body. But if you spiritually devoid, if you spiritually bankrupt, if you're spiritually starving, if you're spiritually anemic, you don't have abundant life. Because the first sign of trouble, you're going to fall apart. Why? Because your spiritual life is weak. Weak as 3-day-old dishwater. Jesus came that you would have abundant life, life abundantly, naturally, spiritually, physically. The issue is, can we receive that? Can we lay hold of that? Can we accept that? And here's the other thing. If you're going to have an abundant life, it requires us to do something. We got to participate. We got to cooperate. You cannot be spiritually abundant and don't read the Bible. You can't. Sorry about that. I know. I'm going to get a cover for it. You cannot be spiritually abundant and you do not read what is found in between Genesis to Revelation. You cannot have a spiritually abundant life if you're not spending time with the Lord in prayer. And just because you go to church on Sunday and Bible study on Wednesday does not mean you have abundant life. Agree with God quickly. You got to cooperate with him. Agree with God quickly. God, what are you saying about my relationship with you? If you're going to have abundant life physically, that means your body has to be in good shape. That means you have to be healthy physically, psychologically, emotionally. Here's the thing. Should not the church, the body of Christ, be the most healthy? And we are often the most unhealthy. Because see, abundance looks different. Do y'all remember growing up, sometimes you always heard people say about church what you couldn't do? You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do this. You can't go to the movies. You can't wear red. It's like, don't nobody want no Jesus and all. It's just full of can'ts. Well, what can you do? What can you do? You cannot be mentally and emotionally abundant if you haven't spent time in the Word. And the Lord is saying, as we're moving forward, abundance is coming to us in ways we had not experienced before, in ways we had not expected before. I know some of us feel like we've been in a drought. You've been in a drought with your health. You've been in a drought with your family. You've been in a drought with your finances. You've been in a drought with your relationship. But God is saying, listen, he wants you to receive prosperity in your spiritual and your physical life. He doesn't want you to have one without the other because that's an unbalanced scale. He wants you to have both. As it is in heaven, so let it be on earth. He wants you, and from the realm of the spirit in the natural, he wants you to say, Lord, I lift up my hands. And I say, give me both abundant life spiritually, abundant life naturally. Show me how to agree with you and do it quickly. Show me how to cooperate with you so that I can walk purposefully, fully aligned with your purpose for me. I want the life that Jesus said he came for. He said, I came that they would have. I want to have what he came for, life and life abundantly. I want to experience it. I want to know it. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to receive it. God says, listen, I want you to be wealthy physically. I want you to be wealthy spiritually. I want you to be wealthy financially. I want you to be wealthy in your health. Yeah, yeah. Because here's the thing. If your body is janky and jacked up, you not, that's right, couldn't wash clothes on Sundays. What? And the only thing you could cook on Sunday, you could fry the chicken and make the rice, but everything else was cooked on Saturdays. Because ain't nobody want no cold fried chicken. Put the meat in the oven early before you went to church. So it was done when you got home. Listen, if your physical body is not right and your emotional mind is not right, then you can't fully enjoy any financial prosperity. If your mind ain't right, you can't enjoy nothing else. Just miserable. God will present us with opportunities. But if we're not abundantly connected to Him, you won't be able to fully identify Him. You start chasing out the stuff. Remember, everybody was telling you Bitcoin, Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin is gone by the wayside. Mm-hmm. That's what God is saying. I don't want you to fall prey to what's shiny. I want you to hear me, know me, see me, understand me, discern me. You ever seen these houses that's nice and pretty on the outside, but they're built with the cheapest material ever? You walk inside and you can tell this just pretty. A good storm come through here and this thing is going to fall apart. If you grew up with some of the older cars when they were real steel, one of them cars hit you, it take you out. One of them cars hit a deer and the deer died. Nowadays, you hit a car, you hit a deer with your car tow up and the deer going on across the street. Because they make them with cheaper materials. Yeah. So God is saying, listen, you cannot take an opportunity if you don't know where to look for it. Pay attention. Open our eyes. Be discerning. There's some things we're going to have to do. If you need to clean up your credit, clean up your credit. If you need to pay off some debts, pay off some debts. Save some money. He is saying, be fruitful, multiply, be discerning. If you need to take a class, take a class. If you can't afford the class, you can learn anything on YouTube. We see how the housing market jacked right up. It's going to come back down. It's going to come back down. People paying $100,000, $200,000 over asking. I've seen it before. Years ago, I know a pastor paid $900,000 for a house. 2 years later, that same house was going for $400,000. Now you upside down $500,000. But that's the time for those who have been paying attention and preparing. The market, the housing market will come back down. Don't buy a house right now. You're going to be paying too much money for it. It's going to be a seller's market in just a little bit. You can buy stock in increments. Maybe you don't have $300 a share, but there's some places that let you buy stock and you can buy $25 here, 30 till you get you a whole share, and you just keep buying it and you keep buying it like that. Some of you will end up having more than one house. Deuteronomy 6:10-12 says this. So it shall be when the Lord your God brings you into the land in which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you large and beautiful cities, which you did not build, houses full of all good things, which you did not fill, hewn out wells, which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees, which you did not plant. When you have eaten and are full, then beware, lest you forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Yeah, rent's jacked up too. Stay where you are. Listen. Notice what the Lord said to them. Then he said, listen, now when you have eaten and you are full, don't forget who did this. Don't act like you don't know it was me. Don't be like Zacharias, the Lord is saying. I came that you would have life and have life abundantly. Don't be like Zacharias. So when I speak, whether it's through the word, whether it's through a dream, a vision, a sermon, a song, I send an angel. When I speak, don't be like, I don't know. And then he ended up mute until the baby came. John the Baptist was born. The Lord is saying, listen, I said we're going to move forward. Toward the end of this year, we're moving forward. So some things will happen quickly. Position yourself. Get your health in check. And I'm not talking about going on a diet because they don't last. Change your lifestyle. You're worth a healthy body. I'm worth a healthy body. So stuff that causes us not to be healthy, we can't eat it in abundance. And yeah, you might need a bigger down payment, but God got you. I didn't realize real estate investment is number 7 on the list of how people become billionaires. And the other thing the Lord wants us to know, like he said in Deuteronomy, what he tell them, listen, when you have eaten and are full, beware, lest you forget. You know how George Jefferson moved on up on the east side in a deluxe apartment in the sky? Don't act like you forgot who got you there. And by the way, you ought to pray for those who might be on the downturn of what God is using to bring you up, that they would land on their feet. Why does this man have his TV this loud? Jesus Christ. Listen, the Lord is saying, you need the faith of a grain of a mustard seed. He is saying, I'm moving you forward. He is saying, the thief came to steal, to kill, to destroy. To steal, to kill, to destroy. I came that you would have life and that you would have life abundantly. That's why I came. And that means your physical life, your spiritual life, your financial life, your emotional life. Get your spiritual life in check. The rest will follow. Get your spiritual life in check. Get your physical life in check. The rest will follow. Can somebody who got my husband's phone number call him and tell him to turn that TV down? I think he just saw my text. Thank you. Yeah, get your spiritual life in check. You got to be right with God first. After you do that, get your physical life in check. Well, you can do both of those things at the same time. Lord, what do I need to do physically? What health challenges am I? You don't have to deal with high blood pressure. You don't have to deal with diabetes. You don't have to deal with high cholesterol. Those are things that can be controlled by what you eat. A lot of stuff can be controlled by what we eat. Lord, I can't afford a gym membership. Well, you can walk. You can afford to walk. Walk around the block. Go to the park and walk. Walk up and down your street. If that's not safe, walk in your house. You can afford to drink more water. God, I can't buy organic fruit, but I'm going to buy what I can and I'm going to pray over it. And whatever impurities are in it, I thank you, Lord, that you came that I would have life and have life in its abundance and its fullness. You will take out all impurities. If I can grow it, I will. If I can't, then I'm going to pray over it and it's going to be all right. I'm going to wash it and I'm going to bless it. And you're not going to cause it to hurt me. Let it hurt me. But I will be healthy. I'm not saying you need to be skinny. I said you need to be healthy. And you don't have to do that on a liquid diet, 29 days with a smoothie and all of that. Don't buy into his foolishness, Kitty. And then ask the Lord, what do I need to do to be financially healthy? How do I need to regulate my spending? How do I help me set up a budget? How can I start paying down debt? I may not be able to pay it off. Tell me what to say when I call creditors. I believe that your faith is they're going to write some of this stuff off. Now that's what you said. We moving forward. We're moving forward. We cannot moving forward saddle to what held us backward. Talking to my same self. Amen. Our devotional reading for the day. Ooh, I'm overtime. Stop worrying long enough to hear my voice. I speak softly to you in the depths of your being. Your mind shuttles back and forth hither and yon, weaving webs of anxious confusion. As my thoughts rise up within you, they become entangled in those sticky webs of worry. Thus, my voice is muffled, and you only hear the white noise. Ask my spirit to quiet your mind so that you can think my thoughts. This ability is an awesome benefit of being my child, patterned after my own image. Do not be deafened by the noise of the world or that of your own thinking. Instead, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Sit quietly in my presence, letting my thoughts reprogram your thinking. My. Because I came that you would have life and that you would have it abundantly. That means we got to reprogram our mind. To reprogram my mind to what we believe abundance is, because we've always believed it. Many of us was material, but it is more than. I know, right, Etta? Look at God. And I never read these in advance. I never read them in advance, so I never know what they're going to say until I actually read them out loud to you all. Have an amazing day. That means I got a lot of stuff to do that the Lord has said to do, that I've allowed things that have happened, particularly in the last year, to distract me, to derail me. Oh, you're welcome, Gertrude. Which means I got to get myself back on track too. It's not just for y'all. It's for me too. This is for me too. Listen, the Lord always knows and he never fails us. He never fails us. So be encouraged. Be encouraged and know that we are moving forward. We starting this fast on Monday. We're going to fast for 7 days. Start writing out some of the things that you know you need to fix. You need the Lord to move on your behalf. You need God to help you with. God, I need you to help me with this weight thing. I need you to help me with these finances. I need you to help me in this relationship with these kids. I need you to help me with the relationships with my colleagues. Is that a song, Cricket? The Voice of God by Dante Bowe of Maverick City. Cricket says it's a blessing. I know my nephew got my mama listening to Maverick City. So be blessed. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome day in the Lord. That's right. Being a vegan doesn't mean you're skinny. But Kitty said she don't have no diabetes, no high blood pressure, no medications. Y'all be blessed. Etta, hug your mama for me. I will see you all in the morning. Bye-bye.